So we're going to create a human and God prayer system in multi-threaded manner. For that we are going to create a prayer class, and for that we're going to create a string parameter named as prayer. We're going to store the prayer that human has sent and God is about to read. And to make it to make the threads know if if the prayer is empty or not, we're gonna create a empty boolean which will be set to true at first, and we're gonna create a synchronized method of read named as read. It's gonna return a string, and we're gonna loop on this read method until the prayer is empty, because now if it is empty, then there is no reason to proceed. And we're gonna wait for the write method to complete its tasks, and when the prayer is set by write method, which we are going to write shortly, we're gonna set the empty to true, because we have already read it, and we're gonna say that it's empty, and we are going to notify the other threads that we have completed this prayer reading task, and we're going to return that string value of prayer. And we also have to create a, as you might have guessed, public synchronized string. It is not string, it's void write method, which is going to be used by the human to write the prayer. And we have to pass a prayer to it so that it gets the value, and we are going to loop around until there is a value onto that prayer method, and we are going to wait until it is empty. And when we will pass that, we're going to set that empty to false, because we are going to read that or write that past prayer onto that prayer parameter. And we're going to set it, and we're going to notify that we have done this method, we have completed the tasks. And we are also going to create a human class, and it is going to have the prayer parameter, prayer attribute, and we are going to set a constructor so that we can get the prayer instance. And we need to implement the runnable so that we can do the multi-threading thing. And we have to implement the run method as a contract set by runnable. And for that we have to first create the list of prayers that typical human can throw. For example, I want a big house. First of all, human asks that, then he asks for, and I want a sexy wife, and you know what, let's change it, and I want a beautiful wife, it's appropriate, and a sports car. After these all are fulfilled, human wants I want a world peace. Yes. And then he's going to after we have to create a random because we want to simulate a thread sleep on this method, and we are going to loop around the prayers, and we are going to pass, we are going to write the prayers individually onto that prayer instance, and we are going to simulate a thread sleep of random almost 2 seconds. Yes, 2000 milliseconds, and we have to catch that exception of interrupted exception, and then we want to write that after all our prayers have been answered, we have to say to God that I'm satisfied. Yes, now we are going to create a God class which is going to implement the same runnable method, runnable interface, and we are going to get the same instance of prayer that human is accessing, and we are going to inject that prayer when the God is initialized, and we have to implement the run method as well. And as usual, we have to create a random method so that we will sleep for random 2 seconds interval, and we are going to fetch the prayers by calling the prayer instance and hitting the read method until we latest prayer is equals to satisfied. When the human is satisfied, we are going to stop listening. God is going to stop listening to the prayers, and for each iteration of this for loop, we are going to initialize that latest prayer from the prayer read method, and we are going to print the latest prayer onto the console, and we are going to simulate the thread sleeping by using the random method, the random class of about 200 milliseconds catch. Now we are going to run this program. First, let's create an instance of prayer which can be passed on to human. Let's create a human thread and pass that above prayer and start, and also create a God and pass him the same prayer instance. Let's run it. As you can see, the prayers after the delay of 2 seconds, the human is writing onto the prayer instance and God is reading it out until the satisfied prayer is hit. Now let's analyze the code we have coded. First, let's look at the human class, which can be a thread. It has the instance of prayer, and a human has array of prayers. For this example, we have 4 prayers, and when it is run, when it is started, it loops around all the prayers that it has. For this instance, this is going to loop around for 4 times, and it is going to hit the prayer write method by its individual prayers. It passes these values one by one. Let's look at the prayer write method. When the prayer is passed around by human, it is stored in this variable, prayer variable. At first the empty value is true, it means that this will be false, this will yield false, and it won't go inside it. It will skip it at first. Then it will set empty to false, as we are going to populate the prayer string with the prayer we have passed around here, and we are going to notify this method and this method. They are closely related, and we are going to notify the thread, the God thread, which is about to read the prayer string, that if it is waiting, then please don't wait for any longer and go proceed on reading. When the threads that are in thread pool, they are waiting, when any of the running thread, it invokes the notifyAll method, it means that all the waiting threads, they need to wake up, as notifyAll is called when a significant state change has occurred in the system. And you might ask, why are we looping around in a while loop? If we are waiting, we could have easily switched around with if condition. This was the question that I had in my initial phase as well. But as in the system, there might be lots of threads and they might be waiting, and when this notifyAll will be triggered by any of the thread, they will not wait, they will pass this line. And if we resume all the process of the waiting threads, then the thing that it's waiting for, it might not be its call. That's why this condition will again put it back on waiting state if the significant state change is not its condition to continue. That's why this notifyAll and wait this wait is inside while loop. And let's look around the God method. Oh, I almost forgot. And after we hit the 4, we complete the 4 loops of this arrays, the prayer is going to write a satisfied onto this prayer string, and which will be triggering God to stop looping. And this is the same thing that we have done, and you might also know that we have simulated a sleep. You might have seen that on the console. And this loop that is inside the run method of God, it first reads the prayer that is set by human. Let's see what it has. The read method, it loops around until the empty method is true. It means that if it is empty, then why read it? Why go proceed further? The same logic is true for this wait and notifyAll until the write method has not invoked notifyAll. The waiting read method, the God method, will not be proceeding. And as the prayer is about to returned by this method, the empty is going to be true. That's why we are setting this to true. And that is all. And these are the instantiation, and we are running the human and God methods. Hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, then please feel free to ask it on the comment section. Thank you.